I'm going to take you through a shoulder posture and functional mobility routine. This is with an anchored um, resistance band. You can use one of these light ones and get a lot accomplished with it. It's for use from your desk or when you're on the road or when you're just trying to build a little bit more of that functional range in your shoulders or to do some prep before a workout. Okay, I do these almost every day. It's fantastic for a warm up and just keeps my shoulders nice and healthy, especially if I've got injuries or things that I'm trying to recover from. It's fantastic. Okay, the first one is a push down, and I can hook this over the top of a door frame. I can try to find an anchor point somewhere. Just loop it over the top of a door, an open door even. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Tighten your ribs and push straight down. Shrug your shoulders back, tighten your ribs, push straight down. What that looks like from the front. Shrug your shoulders, push down. Each time, shoulders back and down, you're creating nice stability through your low traps, your rhomboids, and you can hook it over like this or like this, depending on where you are with the circuit. Often I'll start with a single strand, and then I'll double it up as I'm warmed up and I want a little bit more load. Keeping your arms straight the whole time, not focusing on your triceps, but more just on the center of your back. A great exercise when you've been sitting at the desk or you've been sitting in your car or on a plane is to just open your shoulders up, open your collarbones up, and activate the muscles in your upper back to take you out of that rounded position. Also, if you've got a forward head position, this is just a great one to strengthen your erectors. What this will look like from the front. Reaching out, pulling toward your body. Once you're warmed up, you can use a double strand around an anchor point for a bit more load. What that looks like from the back. Again, with this exercise, you don't want to let your ribs flare up. Keep your ribs tucked as you're pulling. And it'll give you a nice strengthening and postural awareness for your whole posterior spine. This exercise I call the high five. Get an anchor point at about your shoulder height. This is a great one to strengthen if you've had any rotator cuff problems and you want to strengthen the overhead position. What I do from here is get to a stretch position in my shoulder where I feel a bit of load, keeping it at about a right angle, and I'll just start loading and activating my internal rotators here. I can take it through full range of position, let it come back to the start position every time. Then I reach up, okay? Forward, reach up. And that strengthens that often vulnerable position if you've had any rotator cuff tears or problems with overhead position. Just play around with the internal rotation and the overhead press while it's under load posteriorly, like that. Okay, what that looks like from behind. Rotation, press. Try not to let your elbow come forward as you press. Keep it back and down, and press. Okay, you'll feel a great activation through your entire posterior chain at the same time as you're getting that internal rotation. This exercise is fantastic for creating a lot of stability through the shoulder in that often vulnerable position of overhead, and it strengthens your medial trap and your lower trap really well. I want you to avoid in the sword pull to lift in your upper trap, but to keep your shoulder externally rotated back and down. This is what that looks like from the side. You want to tuck your ribs down, keep your abs on, reaching up like you're pulling a sword out of a sheath. I've got a little knot in the end of my cable here, or my band, pulling up. And I always pull it across my body. Keeping my shoulder down and back. That'll give you a lot of strength without irritating your shoulder in any way. This exercise I call pocket to pocket. Okay, it's great for a kind of global stability and strength through your rotator cuff. You reach up, around, pocket, let that band pull you back into what feels like almost a vulnerable position overhead, and around, reach up to your back pocket or even up your back. I like to do this with different angles on my body, turning to the side, challenging that position, across. This is probably the best here, where you get a bit of load overhead where it feels kind of vulnerable sometimes, especially if you've had shoulder irritations. And down and back. You want to push that shoulder, suppress that shoulder down. A lot of depression there. Reach around. Start with a really light load and start to build it up as you feel a little bit more confident there. So that's a fantastic little series that you can do with an anchored band of any load. I prefer a nice light load, and just to wake up all the small muscles and get some blood flow around that shoulder joint. Great for posture and for functional shoulder mobility.